Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge. Manchester United 1, Everton 0. Breathing space in the Champions League again. 3 points ahead of Chelsea, 3 points ahead of Liverpool. And ultimately a very good result for Manchester United. And it comes down to a couple of things. It comes down to a goalkeeper that is reliable, a striker that can score goals, and individual quality. Individual quality, that's what it comes down to. That's why you pay the big bucks. That's why we should do it more, because I completely agree that when it comes down to a few things tonight, I think Carrick's a bit lucky. I do. I genuinely do. I wasn't impressed with the coach tonight, but I was impressed with some of the players that we brought in. And yeah, lots to get into as always. Just before we start though, just want to say that welcome back to United Stand. This is the Final Word show and it's supported by Boyle Sports for powering tonight's show. And don't forget, they've got a special offer on at the moment. If you're new to Boyle Sports and bet £10, then you get £40 in free bets. Go to the app, use the link in the description. Details are there. 18 plus only, UK and Ireland customers. Full terms are on the screen. So look, I've read a lot of the chat before I went live, because I think sometimes it's worth taking a beat. The most important thing for Manchester United is winning games at the moment. However, there is a big question. You can't sweep it under the carpet. There will be people out there who sweep it under the carpet. You can't sweep it under the carpet that not only are we trying to get Champions League football, but we need a new manager in the summer. Based on tonight, there's a few things that I would say. One, we've won the game, and you could easily just walk away from it, be really positive and say, it's just one of those, we win the game, we move on, we get Champions League football. And that's sort of what I want to do. But we are a big community, and there's a hell of a lot more to talk about than that. So I just want to go, we've won the game, we park it, we move. You know, that's what I want to do, because I think like winning when you're playing badly is never a bad thing. We're in competition with Chelsea, we're in competition with Liverpool, we're in competition with Villa, and we've just gone and won a game when Chelsea have drawn at home to Burnley and Villa have drawn at home to Leeds. We've been to Everton and won. So I want to take that positive and just walk and go, you know what? Yeah, Everton probably were better than us, and it probably was. It was a brilliant super chat and the watch along where one of you said, the reason we've won that game is because we've got better players. It's just a quality thing. And I thought, what an amazing comment, because Everton had loads of the ball. They had 10 corners. So they attacked way more than us because they had 10 corners and we had 1. But they didn't have a Cunha. They didn't have an Mbeumo. They didn't have a Sesko. And we did. And I think that's why we won the game. Tactically, we didn't do very well. Effort-wise, we didn't do very well. But we had a very, very good goalkeeper and a very, very good centre-back in Harry Maguire. And we had some quality in the likes of Cunha and Sesko to win us the game. And that's why we won it. And that's why we're Manchester United, because we spend money on quality and Everton don't have that money. And we said this after Fulham. So I'm not going to apologise for us playing badly but winning the game because we've got quality players. I think the bigger question may well be, do you feel that Carrick's the guy to take Man United on? Because probably not, based on tonight, if I'm being honest. But the players we have got some good players. And that's a question for the summer, though, isn't it? It's not a question for now. Personally, and I might not be very popular for saying this, I would take every single game being like that as long as we're in the top 5 at the end of the season. I don't think I'm looking for Carrick to turn us into one of the best teams in the league. I think what we've seen is against Man City and Arsenal, the light switch is on, and against West Ham and Everton, the light switch is off. But thankfully, today and in the last minute against West Ham, we've had a little bit of quality that can still prevent us from losing that game. So, look, that's what it's all about. And look, a lot of people in the chat are saying unbeaten. Mate, if you want Michael Carrick to be manager based on tonight, that's up to you. No one's saying you're wrong. What I'm saying is that I don't really care about that conversation. I've said I'm not going to have it until at least May. And the reason for that is because it's just about getting into the Champions League, and the club are meant to be running a big recruitment manager process. And look, if you want me to be harsh, Sesko should have started the game. Why? Sesko should have started the game. We basically played for about an hour. We did nothing. And then Sesko came on and we win the game. Sesko should have started. I don't know why he didn't start after West Ham. I mean, hello, we were going to lose to West Ham. Sesko came on and scored a worldie and we drew. So you should reward that player with starting. And some people are saying, is Sesko a super sub? Absolutely not. A super sub, I've seen a super sub, his name's Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. A super sub is somebody who's a specialist from the bench to get you a goal. Sesko's not a super sub, he's 6'5". He's got, he's quick. He puts himself up, he's not a super sub, he should be starting. He should have started from minute 1. It might have been a very different game if he'd started. He has to start against Palace. He has to start against Newcastle. He is a starter now. Now, Carrick needs to start putting himself in the shop window for this job by not picking the same team again, because I don't know why he picked the same team. Why would you start the team against West Ham tonight? I don't know why he did it. And it didn't work. And then Sesko comes on and it works. So, no, Sesko's got to start for me. That was a mistake. I think the second mistake as well, and this is a mistake even though we won. What the fuck were we doing letting players go on holiday? We haven't played for 2 weeks. Whose bright idea? I mean, maybe it was Sir Jim's idea. Maybe it was Wilcox's idea. But somebody needs to take responsibility. We played 2 weeks ago against West Ham. We haven't played for 2 weeks. We've let people go on holiday. And then they've come back and they play like it's a fucking pre-season game. Some of our players look knackered at the end of that game. We haven't played for 2 weeks. We only didn't, it wasn't an international break. They didn't play because they're shit. They got knocked out of the cup. They should be doing double training sessions. I think that needs calling out as well. To come back from 2 weeks off and play like that, the lack of intensity, the lack of energy was shocking. So that was a mistake. That was a massive mistake, and it could have cost it. If we'd have been playing a better team tonight, and I'm saying, like, if we'd have been away at Chelsea or Newcastle, or even Bournemouth, I think we would have struggled tonight, because thankfully Everton played well, but they didn't really have a lot of attacking talent. So, fantastic win for United, but Sesko's got to start on Sunday, and we can't be letting fucking this whole like reducing training time and giving them holidays. No, we can't lose one of the few things that was good about Amorim's time. We can't lose that intensity. We can't lose that energy. We need that. We've got to be pressing teams high up the pitch. We're only playing one game a week. We've got to do better. Yeah, but look. Ultimately, winning that game is just so important. And there was a few things I spoke about as well. Look, Cunha on the wing. I want to talk about that. I think Cunha on the wing. Well, there's a couple of things actually that we sort of need to resolve. Because look, to me, and don't forget to do your player ratings, links in the live chat. Mark every player out of 10, 6 being the average. To me, I look at that game tonight and I go through the team and I'll go, Le Mans. Let me just say about Le Mans without doing the player rating. If Onana had been in goal today, we'd have lost 10-0. Like, there probably wasn't a worldy save. Maybe the shot from Michael Keane. But goalkeeper, I mean, he has basically had 10 corners where everybody's barging him and he's punched or caught every single one. That composure and consistency and stability breeds so much confidence. Now, Harry Maguire had a good game. Harry Maguire will win your headers in a game like that. But it doesn't matter if you haven't got a goalkeeper behind him. So I think he deserves a good shout out. Maguire did play well. I thought the midfield was poor. I thought Mainu, Casemiro and Bruno were collectively very poor. No energy. I don't know why. It's strange. Dalot did okay, to be fair. Yoro was a bit shaky, but he did okay. Luke Shaw, I just don't get what he does. I don't know. I don't even know what he does, really. He just seems to be like holding Harry Maguire's hand. He doesn't go forward. And then, Ahmad obviously didn't have a great game. I like Ahmad, but he didn't have a great game. And then you got this Mbeumo Cunha thing. Now, Cunha's pass into Mbeumo wins us the game. All Mbeumo's got to do really is square it to Sesko, who's got an easy chance, and he takes it. That pass by Cunha is the match winner. That's the hipster pass. That's the winning pass. That's the play. The Cunha pass to Mbeumo is the thing that wins us the game. Yes, Mbeumo gets the assist and Sesko gets the goal, but the pass by Cunha, that's the game changer. That's the moment. That's the whole game. We didn't do anything else. That was literally the game, one play. All right, Ahmad's shot, but that never should have gone in anyway. But the one play was Cunha's, and it was amazing. But I'm going to say something here, and I don't really know the answer to it. I think Cunha's frustrated on the wing. I think Cunha's wasted on the wing. I think we can't really use Cunha as a winger. I think Cunha needs to play central. But I don't know how we're going to do it. And Mbeumo is not a striker either. So we've got these two players that have been really good for us this season, but that's going to become very interesting over the next few weeks, because I think we might need to look at like how we get these match winners more involved. But that pass by Cunha was absolutely incredible. It really was. And you can't play him as a cam because you've got Bruno there, and you can't play him as a striker. It's interesting, isn't it? I mean, when you deep it, and I hate saying deep it, but we spent £120 million on two players that were for a 3-4-3. They were meant to be playing behind the striker, and that's what they were bought for. And now we're playing a 4-3-3, and Bruno plays as the 10. And it's sort of like you can only put them on the wing. And Mbeumo can play on the right, but as Marlowe says, Mbeumo doesn't take people on. So, look, it's not... I posed that question because I sensed frustration from Cunha today and Mbeumo, and they were both out of position. And when Mbeumo went to the right, he got an assist, and Cunha still managed to find a great pass. But they're playing out of position. But the reason I mention it is because they're quite symbolic. For the next few weeks, it doesn't actually matter. But for next season, it does. We're going to have to figure out what we're going to do with Cunha and Mbeumo next season. For the next few weeks, it doesn't matter. As long as we keep picking up wins. It's almost like a finishing line now. The way I look at it is it's like a finishing line. It's another 3 points that gets us closer to Champions League football. And let Chelsea fuck it up. Let Liverpool fuck it up. Let Villa fuck it up. As long as we pitch ourselves in the top 5, it probably doesn't matter how we play, as long as we put ourselves in there. And that's the way I'm looking at it now. I crave Champions League football. I want Champions League football. Nobody can tell me that Carrick should get the job tonight. Nonsense. And nobody can tell me that we're on our way back. Nonsense. What we need to do is just get into the Champions League, and then we need a massive overhaul in the summer. Huge overhaul. And whether that will come or not, I don't know. But it's just about winning games. And remember what I said to you last night. If we beat Crystal Palace on Sunday and Arsenal beat Chelsea, both of which are possible, then we are 6 points clear of Chelsea. And if we're 6 points clear of Chelsea, that means we're 6 points in to the Champions League. So, job done tonight. Go and do it against Palace on Saturday, and we put ourselves in a great position. Let me get into some of your comments. Mystery Junkie, welcome to the Members Club. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Members Club. You're a legend. FC Snipe Show says, way off topic, but if Ten Hag never signed Onana, he'd still be here. Way off topic, but if Ten Hag never signed Onana... Well, okay. Ten Hag would still be here. Put Cunha as the 10 on his shirt. Reminds me so much of Rooney today, says Dale. Yeah, but I still think Bruno is a huge player for us, and he just had a bit of an off day. You need a good attacking left back so Cunha can invert, says Joey. I think this is a great comment as well. This is absolutely brilliant. It's not that Cunha can't play on the wing, but with Luke Shaw not going forward, he has to provide the balance on the wing, and you want him to invert. You want him to come inside, but Luke Shaw won't go forward. It's almost like he's preserving himself for the World Cup. I'm not going to run in case I get injured. Like, there was times in the first half where Luke Shaw was on the halfway line, and you're like, at least Dalot's going forward. Rare to say, but Cunha is the Bruno replacement, says Daniel. Corners are becoming embarrassing to watch. Something needs to be done. 3 yards from the keeper, but he can't leave 6-yard box, says Ethan. I know, it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing what's happened to the Premier League this year with these corners and the long throw-ins. It was embarrassing to watch. And if you know what as well, it's got nothing to do with United, but if Everton had scored one of those corners, you know what it would have been? Flicking off, deflecting in. It's shit. It's absolutely shit to watch. 8 players crowding round a goalkeeper, pushing each other, and then somebody putting a corner in, hoping it's going to flip in. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for football, and the Premier League need to do something about it. And I'm glad they didn't score from it, because it's shit. It's shit. At least our goal was a legitimate goal from open play. It's a shit. The Premier League have caused that as well. They've caused that. And the funny thing is, I saw Luke Shaw dive on the floor when Garner touched him. It was like Gabriel yesterday. A referee goes, ooh, foul. And then there's a corner a minute later and everyone's going like this and like that. No foul. And you're sort of like, you literally just gave a foul on Luke Shaw where he's gone down off a butterfly's fart. But our keeper's getting shoved all over the place and it's not a foul. It's ridiculous. Casemiro got highest score on Flash Score. I felt like he was the worst today. Philip, I've got no idea how Casemiro would even be in the conversation for man of the match. I think for me, Maguire, Le Mans, probably Le Mans by a long way. Maguire did well. Maybe even Sesko for the winner. Maybe even Cunha for the pass. You know, ultimately, that was probably a draw. The way I would describe that game is that was probably a draw, and Cunha won it. And Le Mans as well. I don't think Carrick's done anything tonight. I don't think Bruno's done anything tonight. I think it's just come down to that little bit of quality that we've got in the team. As won as the game. That one pass at a time where Everton thought they were going to score as well. And if you watch the watch along, I sort of called it. I said, our big chance in this game could be that they're not playing a low block at the moment. The crowd are getting up for it. At that time, the crowd was getting up for it. And you could sense the Everton players were starting to believe they could get a famous win at their new stadium against Man United. And I said it live on the stream. I said, this could be good for us because they're not playing as disciplined as they were. They're actually committing men forward. If we catch them out and break, we love breaking. And that's how it works. You know, it was actually Everton being a little bit more attacking that led to us winning the game. If they'd have sat back doing what they did in the first half, I think we would have struggled. Because, you know, Sesko came on. How many crosses did we put in the box when Sesko came on? None. Mark, you've always rated Gyökeres. Does he start in every United team like Scholes says today? Says Kian. Did Scholes say that? I'd have to go and check he said that because that sounds wild to me. I'm sorry, but Shaw and Delo are relegation quality, says Diego. If Sesko starts, then who does Carrick drop, says Alan. I think at the moment it's got to be Mbermo or Ahmad. I don't think you can drop Cunha when he's just won you 3 points when you've had a shit game. None had more than one successful dribble, and once again Bruno shows why we wanted to sell him last summer. Utter useless against the low block, says Marlow. Second game in a row, isn't it, that Bruno's had a bad game, to be fair. Both against the low block. Alex says, regarding Carrick, he's done some things right. Better formation for these players. Concerning thing is, it's obvious he's dropping intensity the further we get from Amorim, says Alec. Well, look, I think this is a great observation, Alec, and I think it was you who said the comment in the watch along as well. It can go both ways. So when a manager comes in, they normally say, I'm working the players harder because they're not. I can't believe how unfit they were under the previous manager. It's a stonewall cliche that when you take over as a manager, you always say, we're having to work harder because they're nowhere near fit they need to be, because it's a great excuse. Weirdly, we seem to be doing the opposite. There was a lot of fair criticism of Amorim, but we were a very, very intense, energetic side. Well, Carrick's reducing the training time and he's giving them time off. So there's a danger that we might become less intense than we were with the previous manager, which is weird. I don't know why we're reducing training time, and I don't know why we're giving people time off, because we've had such an easy season. I'd want them to be pushing harder now in these final few weeks. I'd be thinking Newcastle next week. They've been playing in the Champions League. Chelsea next month. Liverpool, Aston Villa this month. They've played so many games. If we're, we should be more intense, if anything. Elliot says, probably won't happen, but Le Mans must be contender in my eyes for signing of the season, looking at what we paid for him. Good point, Elliot. Anyone else just can't stand Carrick, says Isaac. No, I like Carrick. I'm just, I don't agree with that. 2 week break definitely showed, says Cal. Scrappy win, but it also highlights the fact that we needed reinforcements in January, especially in the midfield, says Tony. Sean says, if we had Binder or Onana in, we'd lose that game, 100%. Garner played well. Shame we had to sell him. I thought he was their man of the match. I was impressed with Ndia. I think he's a good player. If we're looking at him in the summer, I like Ndia. He's almost got like Cunha winger vibes. I really like Ndia, actually. If anybody says to me we should sign Ndia over Diamonde, I like Ndia. He reminds me of Cunha on the wing. I mean, he is a winger, but he reminds me of a Cunha winger. I like him. And I thought James Garner played really well as well. In fact, I liked what Cunha did when he was like, yeah. It's just a shame he did it to Ghana because I like Ghana. Anana said he's ready to compete with Le Mans, says Sir. Any other goalkeeper, we lose that game 2-3, says Matteo. We always struggle against the low block, but isn't it Bruno's job to unlock it? Isn't he our playmaker, says Matt. He can't hold the ball or protect it, and against low blocks he can't create. It's not on Cobby or Casemiro. How many times does Sesko have to save Carrick's blushes until he gets a start? Says give it to Mikey. Well, I think we've got 4 more points. I think if it wasn't for Sesko, we'd have lost to West Ham and we would have drawn today. And we'd have had 1 point from 6. We've got 4 points from 6, and I think that's because of Sesko. Start him on Saturday. Every manager has to have luck, can't always win and dominate, says D. Mark, how's the PRV looking today? Performance, result, vision. Performance was shit. Result was fantastic. Vision is cloudy. I love that, Stretford Ender. Bruno was horrific today, says Brian. The saves were better just by holding on to the ball. Exactly, Scott. You know, spillage is a problem. Everyone said that Sesko was a flop, need to sit down, balls out again, Le Mans man of the match. I've got to say, Ivan, there's a couple of things from today. One, I saw people saying Yoro was shit. I didn't see that at all. And 2, I've seen people saying Le Mans haters sit down. I don't think I've ever seen any Le Mans haters in our community. I mean, maybe there are out there, but I think from what I've seen, young goalkeeper, not a Nana, lots of people wanting to be patient and support him. So I think we're all basking in that at the moment. Tough for Carrick when every time Sesko comes on, he scores. Many different ways to win games. Overall, I'd be happy with that, says Fred. Le Mans, what a legend, says Laura Baxter. Thank you very much. And not only the pass, Cunha was huge defensively today as well, says Dylan. He put a shift in, yeah, he did. United looked very rusty tonight, says Dylan, after 2 weeks off. Imagine how they'll be next season if we get Champions League football, Mark, and Champers. Left back is a must. Hall, Diouf, Truffert, DeMarco. Check out my video, Seb. Exactly. Dorgu left back when he returns. Keep Cunha left wing. That might work. If Dorgu pushes forward, that might work, yeah. With his man of the match performances, it's time you start pronouncing his name right. He's Flemish, so it's Le Mans, not Le Mans. I don't say Le Mans, I say Le Mans. You fucking idiot, Maz. Clear it. I don't say Le Mans, I say Le Mans. I've been saying Le Mans for about 2 weeks. I've not said lemons once. Just saw Luke Shaw as the most minutes for United this season. How has this happened, says Mont? It's called the World Cup, mate. It's called the World Cup. Start Ahmad at left back, Mazraoui right back when we attack, says Jacob. And do you reckon all of Ruben's signings had an impact today, says Amit? Carrick's results are starting to confuse me, says Cosmos. Mark, the 10 on Cunha to Rooney meant he plays for the team. He really looks like he loves playing for this team, says Dale. And Mbumo and Cunha are Premier League proven mid-20s players. Sesko and Le Mans are young outside the Premier League players. All of them having a positive impact. Shows you can't put filters on types of players to sign, says Vibors. I love Bruno, but if he leaves, we need a CDM leader, says Daniel. Thank you very much for that. There was a comment I wanted to come back there. Van der Sar very complimentary of Le Mans today, comparing him to himself, says Duncan. And we used to complain about how protected goalkeepers were, says Slazy, but going for the complete opposite isn't the answer. Embarrassing for football when teams go for corners instead. Drew to Fulham as well, so 2 points instead of 7, says Adnan. The comment I was going to talk about was the Carrick results being confusing. I think with what we've seen in the last couple of games is that, and I did say this, people say we can't judge Carrick on Solskjaer. But Carrick was Solskjaer. He was one of the main coaches. So I think what we're seeing is probably what we saw with Solskjaer. Like, it's this create a happy environment and make your players happy and hope that those players will get you over the line, because that's the brief. The brief is to get to May in the Champions League. I don't think we're seeing much in relation to, you know, tactical genius or patterns of play. I think it's really just about trying to keep this group together, fighting for each other and happy. And that's probably why he didn't change the team. Because if you drop Mbeumo or Ahmad for Sesko, you might upset Mbeumo or Ahmad. Whereas if you keep Sesko on the bench, he's been on the bench anyway, and he's young. So you keep the young player on the bench and you go with the more senior players in the team. I don't know. But I think that really I'm sort of looking at it now, and I'll probably look at it in the morning. I'm starting to think, well, I think 63, 64 points is going to get us into the top 5. So we are, what, 17, 18 points off that? We're probably 5 wins and 2 draws from being in the Champions League. And we've still got... I don't know why it's not doing that for me. Yeah, we've got 48 points. No, we're less than that. I think we're 15 points away from the Champions League, and we've got 9 games to go. So 3 wins, 3 draws, 3 losses, and I think we've done it. So, you know, that's the big positive for me tonight, that we're in that situation where it's in our hands, definitely. Okay. They're ready on the fan forum. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Make sure you smash a like on the video and subscribe. Thanks for all your super chats. We're back in the morning at 10 as well. Don't forget Boyle Sports. And let's get over to the fan forum with lemons. And I want you to put lemon emojis in the chat. Lemons. Thanks for watching. Take care.